You have to be careful who you're listening to. And, don't blame anyone for what they're saying. I mean, some people know that they're lying, and even the ones that are lying, you can't blame them for lying. They're trying to better themselves, and unfortunately, they're just doing it in the wrong way. All right, I sort of jumped off into that one real quick, but there's this thing that I have to say that I don't know how to put it into the right words, and I say that a lot, but whatever. I'm not going to worry too much about trying to clarifying myself, But as time goes on, I've since my experience and my experiences from my life up to that point, it's not like that one experience explained life to me. I've had things throughout my life that clued into that. And as I've taken the time to go inside myself and to really figure out who I am and what we all are, I've discovered that it's like I call it spiritual mathematics. Like it all adds up to where I am and how I became who I am. But since that happened, I've been trying to find the right way to put it in words, because there's a difference between me and everybody else that I've seen or heard or watched or listened to or studied for any length of time, like from Jesus to the next guru, or the people that you see on YouTube. And I don't want to put out any names, because they're all fine and they're all awesome people and they're all just doing their own thing. Like I said, whether it seems good or bad to us, they're doing it to try to evolve themselves. No one's purposely trying to destroy themselves. And if they're trying to destroy themselves, it's because something about them dislikes themselves to the point where they think destroying themselves is worth it, because they don't see the purpose in their body or their presence or whatever. But that's a different story. What I really wanted to say is that as I've been looking into some of these things and watching some of these people and listening to some of these webinars and seminars and all these different things, there's this app, Synctuition, where you listen to these binaural beats and they take you off into 3D soundscapes, Well, great. I mean, those things are all cool and they're whatever. And I see people on teaching astral projection. I've been watching things on teaching lucid dreaming. I've been watching things on DMT and mushrooms and da-da-da-da-da, and how there's mushrooms in the Bible, and there's a picture of Jesus with giant mushrooms. And honestly, we know this already. I knew that you can branch off into the spirit or astral world. Well, I wouldn't even call it spiritual or astral world then. I would just been like, I'm fucked up when I was younger, and I would take psychedelics. But as time goes on, it all makes sense. It's not that those things break you off into what you can really see. It's because it's just like drinking. It takes a little veil of that illusion off, but it does it in a different way where it's not chemically, in sync with your body, where it seems good for you, and we know it's not good for you. But maybe if you could believe enough that it is, maybe you could change your body to, digest alcohol right, or, maybe run off of ether. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Ethereal or whatever that shit they have in gas, whatever that gas is. I can't think of it. Ethanol. That's it. Anyway. So, through over time, I'm sure mentally, we've all heard of people that can drink like poison and live, or like you walk on fire and shit like that. Walk on fire is different because it's a heat to your skin, and I guess that just takes mind over pain, and certain ways to control healing and stuff like that. And that stuff is possible, but to certain extremes, you're not going to stand in a flame and last for very long, no matter how much you think you can, because you have hair on your body and skin burns, stuff like that. But so listening to all these things about, I'm seeing this new guy where all these, some celebrities and all these people are, taking DMT and mushrooms and, and they're being like, now we understand that we are oneness, and they say that. And then they go back to saying this thing like, I'm a child of God and da-da-da-da, because they're giving that God an outside presence, an outside acknowledgement. Okay, it's all around. You aren't. Besides your body vehicle that you're in representing this voice that's coming from within, you aren't your body at all. You are, but you're not. Just like when you look at a cat and you say, that's my cat, it's not your cat at all. It's the cat's cat. It's the spirit inside the cat's cat. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? The cat, nobody owns anything. It's all here as a representation. You put your hands on it. Sometimes you have sex with people. Sometimes you do this, do that, whatever. It's not you. It's not yours. It's all you. It's all what we are. And I know that's, all hocus pocus and sounds all nifty, whatever, and it sounds like a bunch of big words, but it's more than that. And once you get it, you really get it, and you just try to find the words to explain to other people so that they're not so miserable. Because, dude, there's nothing that's a big deal. Nothing. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I know it seems really major, and I'm not going to go harm or anybody or anything and anything like that, because it's all you anyway. So why would you do that? Once you understand, you wouldn't do it. So some people need drugs to do it. I've done a bunch of drugs, but what's funny is my most meaningful experience was without them. And actually, since I've had my experience, I took mushrooms, and you know what? The place that I went when I took those mushrooms, they were really good mushrooms too. And like the place when I went when I took them, I go there all the time. I'm there all the time. I do it all the time. Every day I do it. But see, I'm looking for like the super fascinating experience to like really blow my mind. And sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But see, every day is a different day. We're going through this thing in this life. So you can't. I bumped the button. So we're going through this thing in our life, and you can't expect every day to be super duper like every day is amazing. Everything is amazing. Whether you get punched in the face, it's amazing. Whether you fall off a ladder and die, it's amazing. But I'm not trying to say do any of those things, but I'm saying like we're looking for things that personally, from our point of view, we find awe-inspiring or lovable and awesome and fun and enjoyable. But those are just things that our own individual representation wants, because in a way we're sort of being selfish. Anything that you want besides necessities, like breathing, sleeping, eating to nourish your body, not to enjoy flavor or overconsume or have something that makes you feel special. You don't need anything to make you feel special except for your thought of feeling special, knowing that you are, because you're all of it. The billion people, it's me. The 7 billion people, it's me. The universe, it's me. And guess what? When I leave this body, I don't just become a universe. I'm already it. Like, it's out there, but it's right here too, right? Everything that's happening out there is happening here. There's water in the ocean, there's water in my body. There's, dirt in the ground, there's dirt in my body. There's, fire out in the atmosphere, and fire that we can create. Those fires that are inside of us aren't fires that are obvious there, but say like when there's anger, that's a flare up of sort of like the fire inside. When you're passionate about something, that's like the fire inside. We know that people can spontaneously combust. We know that there's neurons and nerves that send like electric kind of charges and amperage. It's crazy. It's not crazy. It's awesome. Like, it's all awesome. So basically what I wanted to say is that I hear these things and people that are just discovering psychedelics and doing this and doing that. Well, some people are not going to get these experiences from the psychedelic stuff. Yes, I do think that some kind of drugs will help them. We call them drugs. They're all medicines. They're all medicines. Whether it kills you or not, it's a medicine. I mean, unless you call if every medicine is a drug and every drug is a medicine. It's just once you add chemicals to it, then I would say it becomes a drug. If you add a non-natural chemical. But what isn't natural? What could you have used that wasn't from something you made something out of? I mean, everything is natural. It's just, you know what I mean? You don't eat poison ivy. So, you use common sense. You don't use a drug that is a household chemical. You don't huff fumes. I've done all those stupid things, but at the same time, I know better. But I did it because I wanted to get this good, and I was immature and an adolescent. That doesn't always mean that I was a certain age. You can act like an adolescent when you're 90, if you. But so the difference between what I've gone through and what everyone else is doing, and everyone else has their own individual, experience. But my experience showed me that I am it, all of it. So I can't even really embrace being Dan Alexander, although I am Dan Alexander, but like that day that I said I felt like instead of having God talk through me or feel this communication, I feel like it's merged, and it's not like I have that back and forth anymore. And sometimes when I get that secondary in my head voice that isn't me thinking, and I can tell like it sounds like someone says it to me instead of me thinking it in my head, those ones blow my mind, because I'm like, wow, who is that? What is that? Because I don't think, everyone says that, there's the thought, there's the universe, there's the 11 dimensions, or all these things, these numbers put to it. People are just trying to explain it like I am. Just more people have gone into more detail and said it scientifically or, astronomically or, more creative in a different way. That's all it is. It's all there, and it's all true. Like, everything is true. In a physical sense, it may not be, but in an alternate reality or a different dimension, everything is true. Like if someone says, I just stubbed my toe, and they didn't, like, because they said it happened in an astral reality. And I mean, they're not there right now, but if they would have actually stubbed their toe, they were there, kind of thing. I know that sounds dumb, but I'm trying to explain how things happen. And if you can close your eyes and picture something, and like you're thinking like, just like thinking, what can I think of? And all of a sudden you're like, a Beatles song. Oh, and then a Beatles song pops in your head. You know, like you just, it's happening right now. Like it's all happening right now. It's whatever you select it to be. And I don't want to try to, I can go off and get confusing, but why? And so the difference is people are talking about trying to explain that the, whatever, like, you know, Jesus, I don't even know. They're trying to explain like an outward representation or saying thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. It's really thank me, thank for being. Like back in when they separated into a church thing, they sort of said like, oh God, oh Father, please look down upon me, or please look to me, you know, all this kind of stuff, whatever. The reason that some of these they did that is so that you could project yourself outwardly, so that you would lose who you are, so that after a while enough people would get so confused they would need to turn to someone for help. And those people that they turned to for help all of a sudden had control. And the idea of control was created when someone said, oh, hey, if I say this, people will do it. You know, and that started so long ago, we can't understand that how the first one. It was probably like, hey, look this way. And someone looked that way, and they were like, oh, wow, if I say this happens. You know, so, I mean, it's a long story. Now, from that little thing, it snowballed into what it is now. And there's governments and, you know, organizations that, you know, control people, you know, and we let them. And the problem is now if we try to stand up for ourselves and say we know they're doing it, they will kill us. Say, even though I'm an American citizen, and I would love and have no problem with anyone in the military, anyone out of the military, except for the actions that they're doing is the only thing I have wrong with them. Except for that, I love them unconditionally. And I would be like, listen, you guys need to step down and not worry about how much money you're making, not worry about any control that you have, and let people be people. They are going to be savage people that all of a sudden go crazy. But then, you know what you do? At that point, you subdue them. You replace all bullets with tranquilizers. The people that are out of control, everyone has to agree upon this thing. You know, like even the people that are out of control, we give them the option to agree. You know, and if they don't agree and then they start harming people, then they have non-verbally agreed, because the agreement would be either, you know, we all start working on our problems in a non-violent, non-aggressive, other than, you know, mental action to solve it, aggressive, non-aggressive, non-violent, and non-discriminatory way. It's not that hard to do. It's fucking simple, actually. You know, it's just the government and the people that have control do not want to relinquish their control. They do not want to say, oh, I'll step down as this president or this foreign leader or this, you know, this organization CEO and not make my billions of dollars because money is so important. No, because if they did that and we got rid of money, we would take people that would volunteer their time to build stuff. We'd have people that volunteer their time to do this and do that and do this and do that, because people would get bored without it. And the things that we don't need would slowly diminish. And there would be societies of people who want to, you know, do silly, like, you know, not silly stuff, just random stuff, other stuff, like, you know, cult type stuff, like people that want to watch horror movies. Don't harm each other. You can act it out. You can make a movie, but we have to have a line that we don't cross, that we do to each other. There are going to be accidents that happen with people wanting to do stunts, people that want to do creative things or go entertaining or ride bikes or things like put themselves like at risk. But that's something they elect to do. They don't elect to put somebody else at risk. Okay? If you do something that could put you at risk at the hands of someone else, then you elected to put yourself at risk at the hand of someone else. Yes, coming into this earth existence, you're putting yourself at risk because at any second somebody could just turn around and fucking karate chop you in the throat, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm saying, like, as we're here, we have a verbal and whatever agreement. It doesn't all have to be processed and, you know, registered and census and all that stuff. Who cares what your individual name is? You know, you're me and I'm you. That's it. We can give ourselves names just so we can keep track of each other. But I would call you whatever you want me to call you. You know, does that make sense? And so anyway, I mean, I could go on forever about it, and there is simple things. I'd love to stand on stage and just talk for the rest of my life and have people just ask me questions. And I would ask them questions, because I'm no better than them. It's just that I know what we all are, and I've experienced it. And I'm not trying to say I'm better. I'm not trying to say that I'm smarter. I'm not trying to say whatever. It's just that I know what I know. I don't think I know. I don't have, this sort of impression that maybe I have a clue. I know. So for me to say that makes me sound conceited. But how is it conceited when I'm saying all I want to do is help you? All I want to do is help you and heal you and show you that we are infinite. Maybe not in this physical body, but this physical body can be preserved for longer. We just have to stop letting people control us. And the people that have control have to care enough about other people besides themselves to let go of that control. Does anybody agree? Who's with me? Can I get a few likes? Can I get a few subscribes? I'm saying this into my phone because that stuff is all just ideas. And everyone worries if you like me or don't like me. And, I say this right now, but, as I go through my life, I have personal occurrences where I'm not as strong as I know I am. Like, I know nothing can hurt me, nothing can harm me, nothing can kill me, nothing can whatever. It can end this body or whatever. It can maim this physical presence or end this physical existence, but it's not going to kill me. But at the same time, I don't want to lose this body or this physical presence anyway. So what I'm saying is, over time, there's so many things that I want to say, and I lost exactly what I was saying there. So whatever I was just saying, I lost it, and I tangented off to this little point. So I'm going to pause it for a second and stop, so I can evaluate what I was saying. Well, I know I was saying something about, social media and likes and subscribes and all that stuff, and how it's just the idea, and people worry so much. And sometimes I have days where I'm not as strong, but it's because I love the people that I've had my personal existence with. I love them, and I've really developed a personal love as the person I am. So I don't want to just throw that away too, but because of that, I can't go further into my spiritual whatever when they're around. So it brings me back, and that's why I'm more at risk and more vulnerable to being hurt when I'm around my kids. And I try to explain that to them and be like, the only time I ever get sad is when I'm around you guys. And I mean, that sounds sort of like, damn, Dad, you're being pretty harsh. But at the same time, I mean it in a way that I'm not saying that they're bad for me. I'm just saying that they're my kryptonite. If you wanted to hurt me, you'd hurt, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. But anyway, so because I don't want anyone to want to hurt me that would go alternate. So one of those things is that I don't want to push anything on anybody because they have the right to do whatever, but we're harming ourselves unnecessarily. We don't have to do this anymore at all. We don't have to be countries and different states and cities. I mean, it's okay since we have that all outlined. We might as well leave it that way. Why try to change it all? Because I don't like the name of it. Well, get over your personal opinions of stuff. Let it be what it is now. And let's work with what it is. Change the ideas, not the things. We can have people that volunteer to tear down the old buildings and rebuild new ones. And what we could do with the people who like to be vandalists or vandals, whatever, have them be the people in charge of the crews that tear down the old buildings. That way they can use their aggression in positive ways. There are ways to use people and their skills in certain ways. There's all kinds of people who write cool movies that have cool scenes and ways that things turn around. Well, why don't they put it in real life action and help other people come up with ideas to do things that they couldn't think of? Work together instead of against. It's pretty simple. But we all worry about, and even the people that feel this way have to play along with the game and worry about money and stuff too. And once they get to a comfortable spot where they don't, then they start getting nice and whatever more towards people. I'm not saying this is everybody, and these aren't the perfect words, but I'm trying to put it in good words. Like, a celebrity all of a sudden will turn really spiritual and start saying all these things to help people. But when they weren't, they had to work their way up there. They had to go through their life to experience it. So there's no fault of their own. It's just the way their life worked. Just like my life will lead up to wherever mine led up to, where I had my experience that changed everything, and now I know what's going on. And there's other people that have had the experience but haven't figured the whole thing out, and they're talking about, and I know about astral realms and all this kind of stuff too, but that's all my belief system presenting itself to me. There is stuff that isn't just my belief system, and I don't want to go blabbing about that until I know for sure how to word it. So as I'm listening to these people and listening to this stuff, like there's things that I know are true and there's things that I know just aren't, and it's just their experience of it. And other people saying that there's things that are this and there's things that are that, and that's really just their interpretation of it. It really is. But I'm not the best, I'm not the expert. And I can't say that I'll ever be the expert, but I'll get better and smarter and be more able to explain it and help. But right now, I'm not the expert, so I have no right to go blabbing about it. But I do know what I know. I like the whole stuff about the whole stuff about, you know. But I do know that we're all God. There is no, you don't have to, like, you know, yes, thank the thing, the whatever, the being, the entity, the whatever that created us all, that allowed this to happen, that is what we refer to as God. But we are that creator God in us, being reflected through us at the same time. But there is something more than that, and that's the whole thing that God merged with me for, because it, he, us want to know what created that. Not just the God that we've wondered about. We wondered what created that. And it does too. Like the it that created us wants to know what created it. And that's the big question. You know, the people that are worrying about studying astrals to see this stuff, like once they got there, they're happy with that. They don't have to go any further. They don't have to. You know, and when you die, your spirit doesn't completely know, because there's something more than that. And I've been there where that place past that, the soul plane, and then the whatever thing. I felt that. And that's what I'm trying to figure out how to explain. And because nobody else that I've seen or heard or listened to doesn't remind me anything of that feeling, even no matter how vivid they talk about their amazing experiences, because they are amazing and they're fascinating, they're awesome, they're beautiful. But my experience was, I don't mean to say more intense, because they're going to say the same thing about themselves, but it wasn't anything about how I felt it or how I experienced it. It was what it was, the total scary and rawness of it that tortured me but pleased me at the same time was so crazy. It was more than just my thoughts. It was the outside thought reflecting all things at once to me. Timelessness, like infiniteness, but without being able to do it, or else I wouldn't be here telling about it. So, yeah, there's so much to say, but I want to meditate for a while, so I'm going to stop recording now, and I love everybody. I love everyone, everything. Peace.